we're going live. Hello, everybody. We are getting started. We're just getting set up. I think, what do I need? What do I need to do a show?
Have you tweeted?
I haven't tweeted. Let me do that now because I can copy the video URL. This is easy. Go to, let's see. Going to compose a tweet.
What's happening?
Not much.
Getting ready to go live. Well, we are live. We're ready to start recording.
Technically a good Nintendogs, but Rush Nintendogs is forever a bad Nintendogs.
Oh my god. Thank you, Miyamoto.
All right, play all your buttons now. Get it out of your system.
Yeah, get out of your system. Do you have them
Okay.
ready?
Oh shit!
You're not even ready. Oh my god! What an amateur!
Please, I really
listen.
like
I'm not your sound guy. What's this?
Really?
Song
I
about?
thought
Play.
exactly.
Hey, you Latino American, play the sounds. Do it.
Dance for me.
God damn it! I don't even know where this. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's the second time. There we go.
That man is dead.
Please do it one more time.
Master Chief comes.
That's like
dead.
Batman is dead.
Oh,
You-
I'm
you
laughing.
hear-
I'm too hot. You play your Batman is dead. He's so
That man
excited.
is dead.
I think he killed him.
He might have been the one. Yeah.
I'm gonna come. Oh, damn it!
No, that one's bad. That one's bad. We can't play that one anymore.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
I can crank. We can do my cranking it once, so if you want to, but you can't do
Yeah,
the
cranking
yet.
it.
Or which I think that's called a grub now. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
grubbing one out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
All right.
Enjoy your gaming.
Enjoy your gaming. Why
Enjoy
does he
your
sound like
gaming,
Stone
brother.
Cold now?
Thank you,
He sounds
Turbo.
like Stone Cold Steve Austin now.
What was that? I people don't talk how he sounded. They all talk like, oh, it was funny, but he sounded like he was like struggling. Like,
Yeah.
my friends, hello. He doesn't sound like that when he talks in
No,
real
man,
life.
that's what steroids do.
Bishop
man.
Love, I love you, but that is a banned word now. Get out of
Oh.
here.
All right.
Oh, no.
Wait, I need stream.
You fall for it, you fool.
I know that we just played it live multiple times, but you're not allowed.
You can't say Batman is dead though.
Oh,
That man
Nick,
is
I
dead.
can't even delete your messages. I have to report you or block you. Delete it
Yeah.
yourself.
I can deal with this.
Chef is the only one who can. I mean, he could make you like
This is Diet
not mean
AJ.
too
Yeah,
dead.
AJ can't do this show anymore. People liked him too much.
Yeah.
All right, I have. Is this no? I'm logged into the Twitch web stream moments. Let me get to my YouTube one.
So we're gonna get we need to like a monthly check in with AJ
yeah
or
sounds good.
something.
Get him in.
We need to yeah.
AJ week. It's AJ week on.
Oh,
Ask
AJ week, let's go! A celebration of
Go on
AJ.
Actually, when I go on vacation, AJ's usually there. So I don't.
All right, super chats.
And this week on the celebration.
There we go.
The rock
Okay.
cave. Oh, it was a rock cave.
Okay. I've set the like you have to be subscribed for like 1 minute before you can chat to try to get rid of the
Oh,
sex bots.
perfect.
Usually I had it set you had to be subscribed, but it was like any amount of time, and apparently the bots got smart enough to figure that one out. So
There we go.
Also, people saying like, "Oh, you should ban the bot." I'm like, we banned them. It's just different bots with the exact same name
Yes.
because YouTube sucks.
YouTube.
Yeah,
so
those
they
bots
can
had
create
some
a-
pretty good propositions.
Yeah. Hey, cheaper than Tinder.
They were
Yeah.
always really direct. It's like, do you like to
But
have
Tinder is
orgasms?
pretty expensive.
We'll put things in your butt. All right. Okay.
That man
All
is
right,
dead.
all right.
I think we're ready. All right, Christian. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you
Thank you,
later.
Christian.
See you later, yo.
See you
Have fun.
soon. We are live. There's a go live button here too. That's weird. I wonder if that would make that go live. Well, I'll test that next time. All right, I'm gonna hit the start recording button. I need the rundown. Let me get that. That's what I was missing. Nintendo. Oh, it's not showing up on this computer. All right, drive.google.com. Shared with me. Are you gonna find it there? You think? There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay, I still have not set up. Well, no, I've still not set up the audio. Right? Have I not? I've not, but I can get that for next week. Next week I'll have the music back for the live show. For now, we just got to go in. We got to do it raw, and I will put it in post. All right, Mike. I'm gonna count us down, and when I do that, you woof woof. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When are we getting our music back?
I was just talking about it. I literally just said everything about that just a second ago.
I was looking through something else real quick to make sure about something while you're
Okay,
doing
cool. Yeah, next week I have it.
Sorry.
It's on that
I
computer
pulled a
right there.
Jeff.
That computer's not plugged in, but once I get it, I'll get it off there and put it on this computer. We'll be good. Okay. 5, 4, 3.
Woof. Forgot.
Yes, I can tell. I knew as soon as I started counting that you weren't going to do it. I looked at you and he's leaning back. He's leaning back. He's okay.
Wait for that sweet Bob Battlefield music to start. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Do we sing it for you? I can. All right.
Throw time.
5, 4, 3.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. Today, what's happening with Nintendo and their directs? Is there a new Fire Emblem game that has already been done? And we are going to talk about the Switch game we have played the most of. Also, I may have played some games that are coming to Switch, like Sonic Frontiers. But Jeff, how are you doing? How is your new life in the new home and the new job and all that jazz?
It's a lot of new things. It's going pretty well though. I did the GameSpeed job for a long time, Mike, and I was always like trying to do other things at the same time, but there was always this thing like I should be writing 3 to 5 stories a day. I should be writing 3 to 5 stories a day, and I always felt guilty about not doing enough work. And maybe it's just because I'm like new here now, where it's like, oh, I'm still learning, so it's okay that I'm not doing that much work. But I'm in a position where I'm like, no, I did the podcast today. That's the work.
That is work.
That was
right.
I did it. Like I did the thing, and now I'm like done. I could go do something else. So it feels different, and right now it's in good ways. But also the house is really nice. We're really happy with it. It's a lot of unpacking, and we're in the middle of that. And it just got really hot here, so it's like, of course, the timing of that's really rough, but. Mostly it's no complaints, just really happy. Although I did just see a fight. I saw a customer really mad at the cash register at the Dollar General, which is the closest store to my house. And he was the only person working there. And this old guy was just like not going to wait for 3 minutes for the cash register to like the register person to finish doing another job to come help cash him out. I'm like, man, this is the only person in this entire store. You could just chill out. So,
man, he's a Dollar General. He expects that world-class service.
That's it. He basically said as much, Mike. He's like, this is not how you treat the customer. I'm like, oh man, you're at a Dollar General, homie. You got to chill out.
I love those
I'm
lectures about the customer.
I'm still raging from seeing a fight, so I'm really good.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're settling in. Yeah, it is getting a little warm. It was hot. It was hotter in LA. It was a bit sticky up there.
I believe
for
that.
me.
Yes.
Yes, but it was a good time at the summer Game Fest play days. Got to see a lot of people. Got to meet some of your new Giant Bomb colleagues. And
people mentioned that they got to see. Jan said you were a lovely human being. I wonder what you did to pull the wool over his eyes. How did you trick him into believing
Just
that?
talked a lot of shit about you.
Fair enough. Well done. That always works.
Yeah, it's always a big hit.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Let's just get to this. There are rumors now that a Nintendo Direct is going to happen by the end of this month, kind of towards the end of this month. We've been skeptical before, then this rumor started floating around. How are you feeling, Jeff?
Yeah,
are we getting a Nintendo Direct?
I was starting to hear like the sort of preliminary rumblings of a Direct later this month, and I was hearing that as I was doing all these other things. I'm like, well, I'll start looking into this, and I was doing a show with AJ last night. Was it last night? The night before? I can't remember where it was. 2 nights ago, and I'm like, we'll start like setting up to talk about this because I was like, well, maybe I can like break this, and then the people in the chat are like, yeah, Alana Pierce already said it's happening. Like, she gave a date for it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, I've heard it's coming later this month as well. I wasn't 100% on that, but then, Alana's not just saying that for whatever, and Nate the Hate is out there saying the same thing now. So June 28th or 29th, depending on the time zone, is kind of how Alana Pierce and Nate the Hate were putting it. What's that sound like to you? Because I'm buying it. I think this sounds right.
I am also now buying it. I think we are getting a Nintendo Direct. Right around that time frame now. I was kind of skeptical before. I think some things have changed.
Okay. Well, yeah. So you were skeptical. Like, what was it? Was it your normal skepticism of like, man, especially hearing it this far out, it's a little bit weird, right? But what was it for you? And you know, we don't talk about like any like reasons that changed, but like, what was that skepticism coming from?
It's coming from just like why haven't they done it already? And then two, you know, they could get away with not doing one this year. There are times where they can't. Was it last year where we literally just didn't really know it was coming out the rest of the year for them? This year we have a pretty good idea. They just released Strikers. They have Pokemon and Splatoon 3 and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And Advanced Wars that could come out still at some point here. So they already had a lot of pretty big games to announce. Part of it was also just protecting myself because I still want them to announce things like Metroid Prime Remaster or whatever it is, the Wind Waker Twilight Princess combo. I just didn't want to get myself set up for disappointment.
Those have to happen now, right? Those have to be there.
They said that last year. I don't know, because last year it was like, oh, they haven't done anything
I'll
yet.
say that so let's compare like all things being even, and you're right, let's be skeptical about like, oh, it has to happen. But and you're right, Nintendo is always the one company where we say they have to do this, and they're the one company to be like, fuck you, we're not doing it. But if we compare last year to this year, and for those two games specifically, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD pack, and then Metroid Prime Remaster. Well, this is the 20th anniversary of Metroid Prime this November, and they wanted a Zelda game every year. There doesn't seem like there's going to be a Zelda game this year unless there is something like this, because Breath of the Wild 2 got delayed. And so last year they had the Hyrule Warriors, the follow-up one. Was that like the second one of those?
Yeah, Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity. Well, I mean, that counts. I mean, that was their Zelda game.
Yeah, it's something.
So I think that those games make sense for this year. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But
sure. But there are things they could announce, like this Fire Emblem game that might already be done. And we've been hearing rumors about a Fire Emblem game. Jeff and Emily Rogers now, who's kind of famous for her leaks and some of her
she knows what she's talking about. Yes.
She's saying that a Fire Emblem game has already been finished. It is a new game, not a remake, being made with Intelligent Systems and Koei Tecmo. It was originally intended for like the anniversary of Fire Emblem's 30th anniversary. So it's been finished for over a year. The main character has red and blue hair. His mother's a dragon, and like the big new mechanic this time, instead of 3 houses had all the different routes, and Awakening had the children thing. This one will be you could summon past Fire Emblem characters, which sounds pretty gimmicky, I must say.
Yes.
But I mean, God,
can I marry them? And can I have make love to them?
I bet. Okay, you can grub them.
You can grub them.
I mean, I bet it'll be like 3 houses. I bet you can pick one special friend, but you can't make them all marry each other anymore. I mean, we talk about this, Jeff. Nintendo does just finish games and kind of puts them on the shelf.
Yep.
But man, putting a Fire Emblem game on the shelf for a whole year, that's again, especially last year when things did seem a bit sparser. Why would they hold on to this one that long?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I'll say that like I was hearing about a near complete a Fire Emblem game earlier this year when we were getting those early directs. Like there was a direct, was it in March or something like that? Around that time, I was trying to find out what was going to be in that, and that's when I was hearing, Fire Emblem ready to go, and it's a real. And then we got what got announced was Fire Emblem 3 Hopes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The Muso game. And so I'm like, this isn't what they were talking about, because everyone said it's an intelligent systems game or whatever, or at least made in concert with intelligent systems, and that's not this. So I kind of like forgot about it because I'm like, okay, well maybe I was mishearing, maybe things were wrong. But now that Emily Rogers out here saying this, it lines up with what I've heard before. So you're right, though. It is a bit weird to hold on for an entire year. That is it's a really long time to put a game on the shelf. Now, they've been putting games on the shelf for longer and longer, and I would love to hear their reasoning for why they make every specific decision. I know that it's not as simple as, oh, we're looking for the perfect time to release it. It's more complicated and involves like more moving parts where, yeah, we want to like find a slot for this, and we want the marketing for one game to lead into another, and maybe that's why like they're going to release that, like the Muso game will lead into this or whatever. And then also like they have only so many marketing resources, and so they're trying to line all that stuff up. So I get it to a point, but it still is weird.
I wonder if it's because the Muso game is such a three houses thing, right? And this is
Yes.
going to be a new game. So it's kind of weird to do the new game, but then the Muso game's about the game from before that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that was weirding them out a little bit. We're talking about one of your Zelda games. We forgot that Skyward Sword HD happened last year.
Right, that's
So
right.
more
So
than
then,
one
yes,
a lot of
God, yeah,
times.
man, jeez. Yeah, you're right. Then they definitely had one last year. Then, so yeah, I think they'll have a real Zelda game this year. Then, just what is it? It's probably going to be Twilight Princess and Wind Waker.
So man, so they could not even announce this Fire Emblem game at this direct, even if we have one, really. Because
Yeah,
again, they may
that's
not
possible.
want to until Three Hopes is out, which is
Mhm.
so that's something. And it is funny, right? All these other companies are delaying games. Even Nintendo is delaying games,
Yeah.
but they also have some that are done. But yeah, it is kind of a weird. It's weird to release that game this year because you already have a Fire Emblem game, even though it's a Muso game, and you have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is scratching a pretty similar itch, I think, for a lot of people. So, strange stuff there. All right, Jeff, those are the two big topics. I know we got some super chats in already. We will be reading those soon. If you guys
Are
wanna
the
send
super chats
chat-
asking us like, oh, what other games do we think will be in the Nintendo Direct, or should we just like really go out now?
No, they aren't asking us
Well,
that
okay, then
yet.
like what else? Like, what's the big surprise you think will be there, or if there will be one? I mean, because so like the games we've listed is like Metroid, the Zeldas, this Fire Emblem thing. We'll get updates on like Splatoon, I suppose, or like things that are coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, they're going to talk a lot about Splatoon, a lot about Xenoblade.
But yes, do we get the new Mario?
They have to have one big thing, right? And they have to have one thing that they're going to talk about that's not coming out
Right.
soon, or even in like that 12-month period. Now, the only way they cannot talk about something as big as the new Mario or bringing back some old dead franchise like an F-Zero is if they just have a lot to show about Breath of the Wild 2, right? Then they can just kind of get away with that. If they have a name and they actually give us some real details about that, maybe just more Breath of the Wild 2 info is their big thing. Otherwise, though, yeah, gosh, I sure hope Mario 2. But again, I still feel like there's a good chance that is so tied into the Switch 2 that we don't hear about that until the same time that they announce the Switch 2. Very sly moving us, by the way.
Yeah, I realized that this works more naturally here, and now your shirt is the right direction and everything. So there you go.
I haven't flipped.
Yeah,
Or I can go find my Final Fantasy 9 shirt
exactly.
again.
But you'll find that I played a trick on you and I replaced it with a Final Fantasy 14 shirt. Anyhow, now yeah, I'm trying to like think if there's anything else that could come out. I mean, yeah, we don't know about Mario, or a Donkey Kong game or whatever. And I'm like looking at their other teams, and it's like it's hard to say. It seems like we know a lot of what's coming from a lot of these teams, and if there's a surprise, I suppose it would be everybody's 1-2 switch, and that would be it. Yeah.
The game's so bad they won't release it. Did we lose a ton of frames just now?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I didn't. Maybe YouTube did, but it says we're back, so everyone just refresh. But mine,
Yeah.
I didn't lose. My OBS at least says I've lost 0 frames. So
Yeah, I think it might be a YouTube thing.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about that, everybody.
We're back.
YouTube's like, what's going on? They're in the wrong place. Unplug a cable, plug it back in. Yeah.
Anywho, there's 400 of you guys in here now, so please hit that thumbs up button. Send super chats. We will read those. First, though, let's get to the questions from the Discord community. How does that sound to you, Jeff?
That sounds delightful.
All right, I'm sure we'll be getting some questions here about a Nintendo Direct. Velocity Prime 1 asks, maybe you answered this before, but what games actually have Mega Man X vibes? The biggest game that has Mega Man X vibes is actually Henry Hatsworth on the DS.
Is that true? Okay. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
I should probably play Mega Man X.
God damn it, Jeff. You would Mega Man X is fit. You haven't played Mega Man X?
I played it a couple times and I never got into it. I bounced off before I really got actually got into the meat of the game. I bounced off. So I love Henry Hatsworth. That's a good game.
Yeah,
so.
well, yeah, maybe you would like Mega Man X then. Any game where you can dash and also like do the wall climbing thing has Mega Man X vibes. Okay. Really.
So
I
Knuckles. Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles.
No, not that kind of wall climbing. The drift wall climbing. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, wall jump slide thing.
Yeah, it was like the dust clouds getting kicked up all the time. That's
dust cloud genre. Right.
Yes, exactly. Dr. Turbo says, "Hey, B and C, berry and cream lads." No, people online complain a lot about a lack of consistent updates for the NSO back catalog. I think $20 a year for a catalog that's already very large is still a bargain if you care about retro games. Plus, it's the cheapest by a mile online service out of the three major console manufacturers. Are Nintendo fans just a bunch of spoiled assholes? Well, they might be that, but they might also have a point. I mean, like most things, I think the truth is somewhere in between. Maybe people are complaining too much. There is a lot of content. There's a lot of stuff there. But Nintendo also does a bad job of making the monthly kind of dumps seem very exciting to the point where you almost just wish that they would just come out with like 50 Nintendo 64 games, and we're only going to update it like once a year with like 10 more games instead of this stupid drip feed, right, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, this is not ideal. There's got to be a better way of doing this. I'm sure they could do something. Would it be worth the effort? Like, this is them still getting their money. I'm sure they've just done the arithmetic and have looked at it and been like, we do it this way, it gives us time to like slowly put these deals together with a small team, so we don't have to hire a million people, and people still subscribe. All these suckers are still. It says here Jeff Grubb is still subscribed at the highest tier. So as long as we got this idiot, other idiots will subscribe too. So they're probably not going to change how they do things.
Wildfire Alex says, where the expletive word is Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, there's a game I'm not even hoping to see.
Yeah, that's in the back bin of my brain, right? Where I'm like, it's on the shelf and I'm not even thinking about it right now. It's I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be expecting it. So it'll be a nice surprise when it does show up again. But I'm not expecting it anytime soon.
Hops says, hello, dogs. If they do indeed make a Super Mario Odyssey 2, what kingdoms/areas would you like to see this time? Some kind of Donkey Kong jungle would be awesome. I want them to just keep being weird. Like, the best ones from the first game were just ones you really weren't expecting. Like, like the dinosaur one, I guess, is maybe somewhat video game typical. But like that, whatever the weird wooded kingdom was, I don't even know what the vibe there. It was like surfer vibe, but it was like this wooded place. I don't know.
Tanks, yeah.
It was like near automata stuff thrown in there. Then like the one that was just a city with Sonic 06 humans in it. That was great.
It's good.
So
New Dog City.
It has to be weird, creative stuff like that, like a suburb instead. Like, that's kind of not even that creative because it's just, instead of a city, do a suburb, But yeah, weird things
that would be fun.
like that.
I've answered this before. My answer will always be the same. They need to do a Super Mario Brothers the movie kingdom where they go.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Where they go to the world of the movies and they're running around there, and there's a Yoshi that just is a lizard dinosaur thing. That'd be great.
Fantastic. Yeah, that'd be so good. I think that Shigeru Miyamoto is actually still upset about the movie. I don't think he has.
I'm sure he is.
Yes, yet,
absolutely.
It's kind of astounding.
Right.
Beefhammer says, Nintendogs, which one is the better way to make a living? Having fans who donate money in order to support you, or having haters who donate money to make you insult yourself at a massive corporation?
My haters are my elevators. I stand on them and they take me higher.
There you go. It is pretty great.
That was a Ben.
Pretty great.
That was Ben from Giant Bomb said that one time. So I've always been like, that's such a good line. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Jamie H1224 says, if what Nate says is true and Persona is also on the way to Switch, do you think Atlas would be more open to putting the Royal/Golden version of Persona 6 onto the next Nintendo console day one if 3, 4, and 5 sells more on Switch than on PlayStation? Who knows how Atlas does these things? I mean, why did it take so long for these Persona games to start showing up on any other console? Was Atlas just waiting for somebody to kind of give them money first before they made a move? I don't know, Jeff.
I'm sure it helped.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like, should we do this? I bet it was probably like this. Atlas standing in a room for like 6-7 years going, should we do this? I don't know, should we do this? And then finally, after talking in a circle for years, Microsoft knocked with a big bag of money and they're like, oh, we should do this, I guess. And then they took the money and they're like, well, now we have to. Maybe it like shakes them loose. Maybe they see how well it does on Xbox and they're like, well, in the future, we have to have this ready to go right away. But it's Atlas.
One Up versus CPU says, what Nintendo series without a new, not Wii U port, game on Switch do you think is most likely to be announced next? For example, New Super Mario Bros., Donkey Kong Country, Star Fox, Pikmin, F-Zero. I think out of those, it's Pikmin.
Yeah,
And
probably.
I want to hope for F-Zero. I think Star Fox is in a pretty bad place right now after Zero. Donkey Kong Country, like you need Retro to make that, and they're busy, obviously. I don't think we're gonna get another new Super Mario Brothers game. If they do make a 2D Mario Brothers game again, it'll be something different than that.
When he says maybe one more survey, Atlas. Like,
Yeah, right.
That's right.
The surveys were getting ridiculous.
Yeah, Mike, you said exactly what I would have said, so I agree.
I am very smart. Casual says, ahoy, Mike, Dino Land Defender Minotti, and Jeff, Chernobyl comforts me. Did you say that, Jeff?
Yeah, I said that Chernobyl. Like, they were like, what's your comfort movie? And I'm like, listen, I know this is weird, but
Wow.
when I'm like in the mood where I just like need to put up a show on that I'm like going to be like engrossed by and not think about other stuff, it's Chernobyl.
Weird.
Yeah, I know.
You're a freak.
I'm a freak.
What's something you'd like to ask us, your delightful community? P.S. What kind of dog is Penny? Oh, good, a real question. Penny is half a Malt. She's half Havanese and half Maltese, which are both just small white dog breeds. So she just looks like a small white dog. Jeff, what would you like to ask the community?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, well, like, I think let's just continue that question. Like, community, what is some of your like favorite comfort things? Like, what are things you find yourself going back to repeatedly? Video games, music, movies, whatever, books. What are things like, oh, if I had all the time in the world, this is a thing I would want to re-experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe not for next week because I already have a talk for our show next week. But maybe that's one with the.
Oh yeah, maybe we can like make that into the Nintendo question. Like, yeah, what Nintendo game you most want to replay? Or
comfort game.
Yeah, comfort game. Yeah.
Turbo Man, it says, hey there, Nintendogs. Even though Mario has countless sports spin-off games in sports such as golf, tennis, soccer, and baseball, it's interesting to me that there's never been a Mario hockey game. Yes, I know there's hockey in the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, but how come hockey has never gotten the full Mario spin-off treatment? Jeff, I assume that hockey's just barely anything in Japan, and that's why, right?
Yes, that's gotta. I mean, that's the major reason I've always assumed is that if you're gonna do a sport like that, the thing about hockey is it's like, what if soccer was really fast? Well, you can just do that in video games. You just make soccer really fast, and it's basically hockey. So yeah, and then soccer's popular everywhere, and hockey's not popular in Japan, not popular throughout most of Asia and South America and stuff like that. So yeah, it just makes sense. But also, I think hockey was in that Mario 3-on-3 sports special.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, again, yeah, it shows up on something, but it
yeah,
doesn't get the full game treatment. So sure. I mean, I think soccer was a game on one of that too.
What am I thinking of? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the sports mix or whatever the hell
Sports
it was
mix,
called.
yes, thank you, yes.
Yeah, it's bad.
Fair enough.
Major Arms Blazer says, "What's up, donkeys? Been busy, but still tuning in all the time. Congrats, Jeff, on the move and new job. Hope everything keeps going well. Mike, I missed you on Game as Decides, so I'm glad to have you back again. And take it easy, y'all. Look at that, no question even. Thank you, Major. Hope you're doing well too." Breadfish says, "What up, doggies? Big congrats to JG on the new gig and a successful move. Now that Jeff is with Team Giant Bomb, will that new conflict of interest prevent him from appearing as a regular guest on the Spawncast? If so, I nominate Mike as a new Game S ambassador. He usually has the better takes anyways."
I'll be able to go on Spawncast, but I'll tell them to have Mike on here pretty soon. I think they should.
I think they've been bugging me, I think, actually.
Oh, you should go. That's a huge podcast. They have like 3,000 listeners every week, like live. So
it's been busy. It's been busy. You know, one of our 4 writers left. We're trying to find a replacement for him, and I had to go to LA. Divorced by Kojima, Jim Ryan says, "Hey dogs, do you think Nintendo is planning the direct at the end of the month just to not be associated with everything else that's been going on the last 2 weeks? I mean, who knows why Nintendo does what they do? It could just be that they didn't get things in place yet. I don't know. Do you think it's because they don't want to be in that one big week of gaming thing anymore, Jeff?
I don't think it would be like that. I would imagine that if it was anything along those lines, it is they waited a bit too long to like see if the ESA was going to do anything. But they would have they'd be able to call up maybe the ESA just strung them along and was like, well, maybe. And then finally, like a few months ago, they're like, well, we're going to do we're not going to do even a digital version. And then Nintendo's like, okay, so there's no E3. I suppose let's just wait a little bit longer. We'll add one more month to our schedule and just do it later that month. And then they're like, well, the Summer Game Fest thing is happening. And they were probably like, cool, we're just going to do our own thing. Like, that's probably how it went.
Doc7 says, Happy Tuesday, Nintendog Pound. The announcement of Resident Evil 4 Remake brought to mind the special edition chainsaw controller made for the original. Sadly, it seems highly unlikely to return with this remake. Now, there's been stupider promotions. If you were tasked with creating an object-shaped controller for a Nintendo series, what would it be? Bonus points for absurdity. There
Okay.
should be a Bayonetta controller that's just her ass.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't know if that's going to be really big though. Is it going to fit in your house? I don't know.
It's gonna fit in my lap.
I was gonna say like a Yoshi tongue controller, but then I figure if we get these two things together, things could get really bad. So let's just cut this question short.
Rachel's in chat says, I think I have that mouse pad. I bet you does. My one friend got my one other friend one of those joke mouse pads. It was for Tracer.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I don't think he ever used it because he has dignity. I don't know. Just this guy, says, with the reveal of the last 3 Persona games coming to Xbox, is there any chance of them coming to Switch? Or am I going to be better off playing them on the Steam Deck when mine is eventually available? Additionally, have either of you played any of them? I have played all 3 of them, although I haven't played the Royal version of 5. Maybe that's something I'll do. It's hard because I like Persona 5 a lot. I like all the Persona games a lot. I don't necessarily want to replay them like some people because there's so many JRPGs on like my to-do list that I kind of just want to play something new instead of playing one that I've already played but with 10% new content, But maybe they're gonna, again, we've always said at some point these have to come to Switch. And I know it's still kind of weird they're coming to Xbox first, but they still have to come to Switch at some point, especially now that they are just porting them, right?
Right. And it's like Microsoft paid them and Nintendo didn't. Like, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And like eventually they'll be like, well, we made a lot of money doing that, and now we have a bunch of money just sitting here. Let's use some of that and get on Nintendo, and we'll get a bunch more money. Like, they eventually will just operate like a rational business. Eventually.
Peachon says, first question as a member. Hey, welcome. Which genre of games benefit the most from having it portable on the Switch? For me, it's RPGs and roguelikes. Grinding feels amazing. Laying on bed. I think you're right there. I don't think I would have played as much Hades as I did, which was a ton, if it wasn't on Switch.
Yeah.
I just play it because I just, would just play it like every night. RPGs is the same. That's the other one I was going to say, especially JRPGs. Even just regular RPGs because I did it for KOTOR. Because, I just like kind of, like those games can be so big that it kind of feels like, it's like a marathon. And knowing that you can do a bit of it whenever is always really helpful. So, not to just steal your answers, Peachon, but I think I would go with RPGs and roguelikes. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I also like, after playing Elden Ring, which I suppose is an RPG, of course it is, but it's also like an open world game.
Yeah.
I like exploring like open world games in the handheld format. Like the Switch is not super powerful enough to do a ton of them, but like Skyrim on there was actually really nice. Again, I know it's an RPG, but just the open world aspect is what I'm referring to. I really like that in the handheld format.
The Egg Doctor says, where is Diddy Kong Racing on Switch? Is Diddy Kong Racing the last one that they announced that hasn't come out? Or is that something else?
Pokemon Snap. I've asked this question like literally 50 times now, but I think I'm remembering it's Pokemon Snaps. That one's not announced yet. I think we've done this before with Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah,
where we assumed
have.
It was, but
I think someday still they'll get permission to do that. Do you think that the one this month is GoldenEye? We know that it's a thing. We've literally seen the achievements.
Yes, there shouldn't be any question anymore that is this like even real? It is real. It's just who's going to announce it now. I'm a little surprised they weren't able to work it out to just put it at the Xbox show. Like, I'm surprised that's the case. But next month August is its anniversary, and Nintendo does own the copyright. So maybe Nintendo wants to be the ones to talk about it first. Yeah, that Direct. Why not? Let's put it at the Direct.
Let's see. Winnie says, can we see the cat? How do you keep the cat from chewing cords? You're both great, but cat is now my favorite Nintendo. Look, the cat is not a Nintendo.
Have you seen the cat on camera or something? Is that what happened? I don't know.
Yeah, I saw it on camera at one point.
Yeah,
I
it
know
was like walking, like it kind of
walked.
walked. He was walking up here, I think, like last night or something. Yeah, he's a good boy. He does not care about chewing cords anymore. He's pretty old now. He's like 10. So he's chilled out a bunch. But yeah, he'll come downstairs. he peed on the carpet before we left at the old house, so he got in some trouble. So he's not allowed in any carpeted areas anymore. So he can't go to the top, the third, like there's the basement, first floor, and the second floor. He can't go up to the top floor because that's all carpet. But he can come down here whenever he wants because this is all like wood vinyl, whatever it is. So he should be on stream a lot. He's a good old man. He just kind of needs to be a little bit better about using his litter box.
Same with you.
Exactly. I get it.
Love it. Nick Turbo says, question for Mikey, and has the spoiler blackout on it. I'm scared. How do you make rainbow sunglasses? Yeah, you throw them into a rainbow. I hope you all enjoyed the embarrassing stories. I remember telling that quote unquote joke, mostly to my poor grandpa, who was very patient. Lossian says, hey, Jeff, pro child labor, Grubb, and Mike, AJ, play Mega Man so I can watch Monotony Man. Mine's much better than Jeff's.
Why do I talk? Why do I ever say anything?
What did you say? I don't remember. I listened to everything you did. I didn't listen to the Bombcast today yet.
It was the Bombcast. Yeah, it was someone asked, like, it was an email, I think. And they're I knew a booth babe who was like sad that the booth babes went away at E3 because all those people were like, it was awesome because the gamers like pretty respectful and they're not like loud, drunk asshole businessmen. And so it's really nice. We get paid well and it's really easy. And so it's bad that booth babes went away, but for those people, I'm like, yes, there's always like an unintended consequence. Like when a child labor is usually not working at like a job in a third world country because they like are being forced to. They're doing it because they need money to feed their families. So when a company stops using child labor, it's like, yeah, this is good.
Maybe we should stop talking about this.
Well, I mean, I'm not. But this is the thing. I am not in any way saying we should be using child labor. I'm saying when we do things that are good, sometimes it has unintended consequences that hurt people, even if it's like seems like you're helping them. So it's complicated.
No, child labor is a real simple issue. Jeff, here's Lossie's question.
Thank you. Yes.
Who do you think Xbot Killer is? Is it Mike or RGT85? Mike, any great stories from your LA trip, not video game related, so you don't get into someone else's jail? P.S. Thank you for great shows. And Cooler Mike was great too. Cooler Mike. All right, Jeff, who's Xbot
God
Killer?
Damn it, chat. I think it's Joe Biden. That's my guess.
Yeah, that would make sense. Do I have any stories? Man,
you're gonna talk about automation. God damn it, Christian! Why didn't you say this earlier? That's such a better example.
Yeah, automation. Yes, that would have worked so much better than the job.
Everyone's just like, Jeff just loves to pay kids to work job. Like, no.
I mean, I think I already said it, but I was very obnoxious about beating Cuphead DLC. Oh, by the way, it was only there that I realized it's called the Delicious Last Course because that's an acronym for
right?
DLC. So yeah, very clever on them. Zylax002 says, with the confirmation of the Kojima Xbox game, it has become inevitable. Eventually, he'll have to complete the trifecta and release a new Nintendo exclusive. What do the dogs think it'll be? I hope it's a sequel to those Game Boy Advance games he made with the Sun. What the hell were those called?
Wait, what?
You know.
Oh, Boktai. We're talking about Kojima. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boktai.
Yes. It's going to be a cloud Boktai game. What is that like? How does that work? So if it's maybe it is just connected to the actual weather everywhere, and like you have to like set your location, and it brings in the data from the cloud.
Yeah, it doesn't actually need sunlight. It just knows that it's sunny.
Right. Yeah. Microsoft Bing weather or something. Yes. Absolutely.
Epic Stamp World said, hey dogs, Brian Altano tweeted it is the 5th birthday of the Metroid Prime 4 logo. 2 questions. What the fuck is time? Second, rank these games in the order they came out. Metroid Prime 4, Kingdom Hearts 4, and Everwild. All games you can reasonably ask, are these real games besides logos and trailers?
Okay.
Interesting. First off, man, Jeff, do you believe that? So you worked at GamesBeat for about 10 years. Halfway through that was when they announced Metroid Prime 4.
Wow, that's messed up.
Yeah, it was not that incredible. Like it was almost worth it because they had such a good E3 that year, and it was right when the Switch was coming out. So it was so important to have a good E3. So as stupid as it is, just to show a logo of a game that was barely in development and would eventually have to get rebooted, it sure did make for a good show. Okay, I think Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out first. I think it does. I don't think that one's going to take nearly as long as 3 did.
I agree. I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is first.
And then it gets difficult here, man. Because like Everwild could just be canceled at some point. Like, why not? They're not going to cancel Metroid Prime 4, probably. Everwild could just never come out. So I'm stuck between that and Metroid Prime 4. Maybe I'll say optimistically Metroid Prime 4 comes out before Everwild, but I'm not super sure about that. What do you think, Jeff?
I think it's Kingdom Hearts 4 first, Metroid Prime, and then I don't think Everwild ever comes out. Isn't that exactly what you just said?
I think Everwild maybe just never comes out. Yeah,
I don't think it ever comes out.
Jet Matt asks, what do you think Nintendo will do to make the next 2D Mario feel different? So not look different. We always say there's going to be an aesthetic difference, probably. What couldn't they do to make it feel? They should knuckle chaotix it. Mario and Luigi should be connected by some kind of a bungee cord.
But like really intense bungee physics. Like the bungee cord should be super realistic. Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, and it should just actually be called Luigi's Chaotix. It should actually just be a Wario and Waluigi game.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
It's Waluigi's Chaotix. Oh my god. I want that game so bad. There must be a fan mod of something similar to that out there somewhere. Zipsis says, I just finished the sequel to Hotel Dusk, Last Window, The Secret of Cape West on my DS this last week, and it was a fantastic game. It got me thinking about some lesser-known Nintendo-owned IP that never released in America, but did elsewhere, specifically ones that released here in Australia. I already played this game on the Wii back in the day, but no longer have my copy anymore, so can we expect a Switch port of a critically acclaimed Disaster Day of Crisis? I'd also accept the port of Doshin the Giant, as I don't have that anymore either. You know, I loved Hotel Dusk, but I never did play Last Window. It just seems so much... It was so much less talked about, and again, I don't think it came out here, but it was easy to import or whatever it was.
Right, but I
Disaster Day of Crisis. Matt McMuscle is the What Happened guy. He did a video about that one that was pretty fun to watch. I don't think I'd ever need to play that one. Same with Toshin the Giant. Really, it's hard to say especially that Nintendo owns. There's certainly some exclusives still and some stuck in Europe games with okay, don't worry, I got this with Terra Nigma being the biggest one, but again, I don't think that's Nintendo specifically.
Yeah, the question is kind of like, what are Nintendo games you haven't played before, like Nintendo properties? That's the general question.
No, I was just asking. Yeah, kind of just the lesser known Nintendo owned IP that never released in America but did elsewhere.
Right. I think I wasn't sure because we just got that question again recently. Captain Rainbow. Maybe we got it somewhere else, but
Captain Rainbow and the freaking the Tingle game.
Yes, Tingle's Ropey Roozy Land. Rosy Rupee Land.
Don't say ropey.
Don't say ropey. I agree. That's
please.
Yeah. Ooh, close to a banned word already.
Yeah. It's getting there. Per Bappa 5 Royale with cheese says, well, boys, we got one of the indie games that was announced years ago. See a release date within the next 12 months. Is there any chance the other shoe falls and Sports Story gets a re-reveal along with a time window? Should I wait for them to announce it at the next Xbox showcase? That would be hilarious.
That would be very funny, yes.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. Sports Story at the Nintendo Direct, Jeff?
I'm going to say yes. Let's just say yes. Let's go for it.
I'm going to say no.
I believe in it. Listen, if Silk Song can show up at an Xbox event, we at least should get Sports Story at a Nintendo Direct. Come on.
So how did Nintendo kind of lose Silk Song?
Lose it.
I know. It was always going to be a multi-platform thing, but look, they were the ones who, I think first showed it. It was at their E3 booth when I played it. How did they? Yeah.
It's Game Pass day one. Microsoft showed up with a big bag of money like they did for all these other games. And then Nintendo, and they're like, hey, Nintendo, Microsoft wants to pay us a bunch of money. And Nintendo's like, wait, let me cut you off there. Are you asking us for money? And they're like, yes. And Nintendo's like, ha, and then hangs up the phone. Yeah. And that's how Nintendo deals with that sort of thing.
I guess that relationship changed from we're doing you a favor, Hollow Knight, to we made Hollow Knight. Microsoft just wants to give us a bag of money that we kind of deserve.
Right, exactly. So. And listen, an indie game launching on Switch and PC first, because that's what the indie dev is focusing on, is a good strategy up until the point where someone gives you a bunch of money to do something different, and then you do the different thing.
Sesame Oil says, hello, the man just arrived and the man just returned. Congrats, Jeff, on the new house and new job. What is a game that's already announced that still doesn't feel real? Everwild doesn't count. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 4, I guess, kind of feels like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't even feel real. I don't know. this isn't even Nintendo. Redfall still doesn't feel real to me in some way. I thought it was interesting, Jeff. People did not talk about Redfall very much. I know it got upstaged big time by Starfall, but
Yeah, so I think that going back and like looking at Redfall, I'm like, okay, they showed a ton of combat, and I think they did that because they're like in an E3 sort of environment, and they feel like they needed to do that. But that's like the last thing I needed to see. I need to see everything else that happens in that game. Like, if it's an arcade game, what am I doing between the combat, or what am I doing to avoid combat? If that stuff exists in this game, I need to see it. And until then, it's another one of those I'm filing in my back cabinet of my brain until I know more.
And then from Diogo,
UFO 50 is a good one. That's a good game. Sorry for the last question. UFO 50, that one from Derek Yu that has 50 indie games made by a bunch of indie friends.
like
together.
what it's supposed to be, like the whatever the hell that thing was called for like the NES and Genesis.
Collection, like 50-in-1 game or something like that.
Action 51 or something.
Yes.
Diogo RP says, "Hello, dogs, and welcome back, Mike. Thank you. Coming to you directly from Croatia on vacation, but still finding the time to listen to the pod and play Bug Fables.
Thank you.
My question this week: what's your favorite average Nintendo game? Meaning a game that feels lacking in many regards, but you still find comfort in. My choice has to be Metroid Other M. Severely flawed games, especially when compared to other great Metroid titles. But I really enjoy its mechanics and overall vibe. Yeah, I'm like a defender of some of those games that people think are bad that I think are kind of fine. Or like Other M and Star Fox Zero, I feel the same way.
Mhm.
Star Fox Zero is kind of like, it looks nice. It's the aesthetics and the presentation of it are great. It's just not very long, and the kind of two screen things is a little awkward. But I kind of figured out eventually. So yeah, I was kind of one of the few Star Fox Zero defenders. What's your favorite average Nintendo game, Jeff?
It's a tough one because like it's hard for me to like pull that out of my brain, but it's like the recent Mario sports games have all kind of been there for me. Yeah, I like them. I still enjoy going to play them. I don't enjoy going through their campaigns when they're launching, and I'm like trying to assess like how I feel about these games. Once they're like gone and I go back to visit them, I'm like, oh, this is fine. This is fine.
Does this include Strikers? Because it has that same, I guess, lack of a content prompt, but it's like, it's one of those weird things, like how much content did Street Fighter 2 have, right? It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You're playing people in Street Fighter 2, and here you're playing people in Mario Strikers, and I think that's really fun. But sure, like maybe this game could have had some more interesting modes and more characters and all. So like, I get the complaints.
I get it.
I don't know if it bothers me.
Right. And, I bought this game because I'm in Nintendo jail, so I bought it.
Still in Nintendo jail, which is funny.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I spent my money on it, and yet I'm still not bothered too much by it. Like, I'm getting from it what I want, what I needed. But I understand that reviewing it, assessing it as a $60 product now, it's pretty average for most people. If you're in a family or you have a lot of couch co-op opportunities, it's pretty good.
Nintendo Bro says, Mike, what's the best joke you've ever heard? Jeff, what's the worst joke you've ever heard? Oh, man, that's hard. For some reason, the first thing that came to mind is in Galaxy Quest when they land on that planet, and Guy is like the only one who's like, if you guys watch the show, these little things are going to kill us, blah, blah, blah. I'm in trouble, blah, blah. And like, and what's Sigourney Weaver is like, oh, come on, no, they're cute. And then like they turn evil and they're running away. And as they're running away in that chaos, it almost takes your third viewing to even hear it. You can hear Sigourney Weaver saying like, let's get out of here before one of those things kills Guy.
Yes.
And it's just, what a perfect movie.
That movie is perfect. Oh, it's so good.
God, it's so good.
Well,
Jeff,
was mine the best or the worst?
What's the worst joke you've ever heard?
I only have the best joke, which is how do you get a pair of sunglasses to turn into rainbow sunglasses? And you throw it out rainbow.
Maybe you should just pretend it's the worst joke.
Okay, I'll just pretend then. Yes, that's the worst.
I know it's hard. But... Fishin' Love says, hello, Mike. Wait, you're not AJ Minotti. And Jeff, collecting L's about Xbox Grubb.
Oh, my God. I also like how chat, it continues to just, like, tease you this entire time. Like, where's AJ? Like, everyone tuning in, it's like, where's AJ? Yep.
Where is AJ? Huh? He's not here. You're stuck with me. I'm all you got. With 2022 being a slower year for gaming, do you believe this could be the year where we see more than just the one token indie game being nominated for Game of the Year? If so, which games would be your prime candidates? One of my dark horses would be Neon White, that is releasing on Switch in just 2 days. There's also Tunic, Rogue Legacy 2, Norco, Citizen Sleeper, TMNT, Stray, Call of the Lamb, Metal Slug Tactics, etc. Usually when this happens, Jeff, it's something you didn't even know about or weren't really
Right.
expecting.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I was kind of excited for Celeste. I didn't realize it was going to be that good. But like, even here, there's a bunch. Tunic, I don't like. Some of them are going to get nominated some places. And we're talking like the Game Awards. I mean, there's a big general consensus. I don't know about any of these unless maybe Stray is somehow actually really good. It isn't just like cute and fun to see.
It has to come out of nowhere and has to nail the landing. It's so hard. So I don't know.
It's Metal Slug Tactics. Like, I know I'm gonna like Metal Slug Tactics.
Right, no
I know
way.
I'm gonna like TMNT. I don't know if they're gonna have this giant.
No,
Game of the Year
TMNT has
appeal.
no chance of being Game of the Year, or nominated or anything like that. It's going to be.
Right. I mean, Streets of Rage 4 wasn't. And Streets of Rage 4 was so good for a beat 'em up, retro beat 'em up. So it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, like even people who like it, those just take it as a known quantity, and you're like, I'm going to put it on my list, but you don't expect it to be the kind of thing where you could convince other people that it's their Game of the Year. So, yeah.
Gerber says, "Happy National Strawberry Shortcake Day." This is apparently a thing, guys. My question is a throwback. Can you remember your gaming resolution for this year, and how's it going? I'm attempting to beat Ocarina of Time for the first time. And spoiler alert, I've gotten as far as some tree bugging me for help. Well, it's not very far. I think I told everybody I beat Earthbound this year, which I still plan to do. It didn't win our poll for the Game Club, so I'll probably have to do it outside of that. I still have a lot of bug fables to play and some other things. So I'm not pretending it's something I'm doing immediately, but at some point before the year's over, which knowing me probably means December, I'm going to play Earthbound. How about you, Jeff? Did you make a gaming resolution for yourself?
No, nothing in particular. There was like earlier this year, I was like, I might get caught up on some stuff and maybe fill in some gaps for PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, which I have. But it's like, then now that PlayStation Plus thing is launching, maybe I'll give it a chance. But PlayStation 3 being streaming means I'll probably just focus on PS2. I don't know. When stuff like the Steam Deck was coming, I'm like, I'll just set it all up on there, and I didn't do that either. So I'm probably not going to get around to this whole resolution ever.
Vision 49 says, I don't want to get hopes up, especially given where the rumors comes from, but do you think there's any shred of truth to the Oracle of Seasons / Ages being remade in the Link's Awakening art style? At this point, it feels like Nintendo's just going to announce a direct 5 minutes before it starts and just tweet, get in here with a link. Jeff, I'm so back and forth on this because it seems like it'd be very easy just to get that team that did the remake for Link's Awakening and say, yeah, just remake these now. They're very similar. Just do that thing again. But I can also see Nintendo being like, no, those games aren't as popular as Link's Awakening. Why bother?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like Link's Awakening for the Switch sold around like 4 or 5 million copies. Like that's pretty good. I would imagine that's pretty good for the amount of work they put into that.
That's Final Fantasy VII remake numbers.
Yeah, I suppose it's really great, isn't it? You're right.
Huh. Isn't it weird?
Yeah,
what was
weird.
it that just sold 10 million copies?
The Last of Us Part 2.
Part 2, and it's like, wow, not quite as good.
One of the most expensive games ever made, ever.
They're gonna remake it in 8 years.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I guess Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably still more expensive, but Last of Us Part 2 is probably right up there in terms of cost, and it's like almost Luigi's Mansion. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Stitch 30M says, hello, first time asking a question. Hi, Stitch.
Hey, Stitch.
Might have been asked before, but why hasn't Nintendo ported Super Mario Galaxy 2 to Switch? Because they hate me. God, I wish they would. But our only guess is that it is slightly more dependent on some of the pointer controls than even the first one is.
Not motion controls, but pointer controls. If it was motion,
especially with Yoshi.
If it was motion, it would be fine, but it's pointer controls, and that's not as easy for them to emulate. So now, I mean, they could probably do it all on controller, but it's just a little bit awkward, and they're not going to put out an awkward version of that game.
Yeah, I hope so, because that's such a good game. Maybe better than the first one. Probably is.
It is.
Beloved Nick Turbo says, okay, serious question now. Now that Kojima has made deals with both Microsoft and Sony, do you think Nintendo will ever approach Kojima to make a game for them? And if so, what type of game would it be? Similar question. I don't think Nintendo would really approach them. I don't know. Gosh, like who would? I think him and Sakurai are friends that kind of know each other, but I don't know if Sakurai is going to go making any overtures. I think maybe he had a relationship with Iwata even, but this current management, does Kojima even have any big friends there? I don't know. I don't see it, Jeff. Kojima's interests, I think, are pushing technology and movies, right? I don't think.
Yeah,
Nintendo
He's not interested in like trying to like convince Nintendo to work with him. He's got his own, like he's almost like a Nintendo unto himself a little bit, like in terms of like
Yes.
Like he can just be Hideo Kojima, and he doesn't need like whoever wants to come work with him. That's fine. But if someone doesn't want to work with him, he's like, okay, I'm Hideo Kojima. I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yeah. Oh, Hitch, we haven't read super chats yet. We read them all in one big go here.
Also,
Probably after we do the topic.
Officer Problem pointed out that I almost assuredly said this. I'm going to play all the Stalker games this year. That's a good memory, way better than mine. Obviously, I have a terrible
Don't you
memory.
still have to read the Bond Wonderworld book?
Well, listen, we don't talk about that. I playing all the Stalker games sounds like a really good Giant Bomb feature. So maybe I'll find, especially like during the doldrums of summer, we'll find time for something like.
Doldrums of summer.
Yes, is that good? Is that right? I don't know if I used that right.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Octo, last one here says ranking of Minotti's when. No, we can't upset the delicate Minotti ego balance.
Also, I know this is a joke thing, but we don't rank people. We don't rank people.
Aw.
Okay, never mind. Mike Minotti, number 3. There you go. You happy?
All right. So thank you guys. Yes, and we'll do all the super chats in one kind of swoop here towards the end, so we can do them all at once, not to kind of keep going back to them. But for now, why don't we get to this topic of ours, Jeff, which was what was it? Was the game you have played the most on the Switch? Jeff, what is your most hours spent on a single game on the Switch? I have a guess. Actually, I'll guess for you. You tell me if I'm right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it Breath of the Wild?
It's probably, if it's not that, it is like Hades is very close and Dead Cells is very close. But I bet it's Breath of the Wild. If I had to pick, because that was 150 hours right out of the gate. And at this point, it's probably closer to like 180, 190 hours. Right. So it's probably that, almost certainly. Well, you know what? Animal Crossing New Horizons. I played a lot of that too. Shit.
Yeah.
This is tough.
I forgot. I mean, I kind of forgot about that. It's funny because I almost forget because I stopped playing at some point. So it's almost like I gave up on it. But no, I played a ton of it.
I played a ton of it.
Hours.
Yeah, I think I reviewed it. So I was like, yeah, there was a lot where I played that game. So yeah, I don't know. That's probably up there.
Do you have a guess what mine would be?
What? I'm trying to think like what kind of, I don't know. Would it be
not very hard?
Okay. Well, that makes it harder for me now that it should be easy.
now you know, you should know.
Yeah,
it.
now that I should know. Really like, oh god, it's like there's this shadowy part of my brain where like an answer is, and it's just not clearing up the clouds. So no, I don't know. Is it Hades?
No, it's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh, of course it is. Jesus Christ. Oh, of course it is. Yes.
Right, because I play that game with my friends.
Yeah.
All the time. I will play it on my own. Just
you like practicing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it's definitely, even though I don't play it online barely at all, but just sometimes with the community, really, I play it a ton. I don't actually know what my total hour count is because it was annoying that when you switched from the old Switch to the OLED, that got reset. So who knows what's that?
That's annoying.
I'd imagine 200 hours probably, maybe closer to 150, but it's certainly my most played one. And then second place, it could be a bunch of other things. There's some longer JRPGs I played. Oddly enough, just to beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a game that I shit on a lot, that was 80 hours. Jesus, so that was a decent chunk of time. That's one of my problems with that game. That did not need to be an 80-hour long JRPG.
When do you play Smash for the community? I've never been invited to one of these.
Remember, Turbo Sean challenged me, and there was a whole thing about it.
That's right. And I think I was
traveling.
I was moving.
You were doing
yes,
your whole
I was in a
thing.
hotel. I remember this. I couldn't even watch. I was bummed out about that. And yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry. You don't need to see it. Actually, I beat him the first round, and I was feeling pretty good. And look, you could call it an excuse, but I was doing it through my capture card. So I had input lag on top of the normal online input lag. So
you could just plug it in from the capture card into the TV, and you could have avoided this.
They told me that. I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, next time.
I will say that capture card does have latency. It has some of the least amount of latency for any capture card, but it is just enough for a game like that. That's fair. Turbo Sean says, and yet you're still not good at it. So I just want to make sure that was in the chat.
I beat him once, Mr. I went to video game tournament. Which one with Combo Breaker? Give me a break.
If you beat him once, you could just say, I beat you, because it's true.
Yeah,
it's still technically true.
I beat him. He lost to me in a Smash Brothers. All right, let's see what the community said here. Cat Guy Neko says, the game I played the most on Switch by a huge margin is Smash Ultimate. Currently sitting at 420 nice hours. A distant second is Pokemon Unite. Man, I kind of forgot about Pokemon Unite. There probably are people who just play a lot of that.
That's probably all they play on their Switch, I bet, yeah.
Wildfire Alex. I got to hang out with Wildfire Alex quite a bit at the Summer Game Fest, by the way.
Thanks for taking care of Mikey, Alex.
Yes. He got me. He said it, Breath of the Wild. That's all I need to say. Pablo Costa says, for me, it's Pokemon Shield. 250 hours, most of which I spent trying to get 6 IV Pokemon through insert band word here. Oh, right. Yeah, that's funny. Second place, Octopath Traveler with 150 hours. Man, I think I like JRPGs a lot, and some of them justify being really long, like Persona 5 being like about 100 hours was fine. Even Dragon Quest 11 ended up justifying it. Most JRPGs should still be about 30 hours. Some of them have just gotten real ridiculous lately. The Trader Kojima says Breath of the Wild easy. Played through it about 99% of the way twice. Okay, maybe minus a few Korok seeds. It's just as magical playing it the second time as it was during the first. I hadn't felt that way playing a Zelda game since Wind Waker in 03. Absolutely one of the GOATs. Lossian says, I am Scrub, and my most played game is Mario Kart. Well, hey, I think Mario Kart is a lot of people's most played games. Velocity Prime 1 also says Breath of the Wild. Baby clocked 200 hours. Probably the most I ever played a single player game. That's an interesting question. The most amount of time you've spent on a single player game. I don't know if there's a single player game I've ever played for 200 hours. I'm trying to actually think.
I mean, I've definitely gotten close with stuff like Skyrim. I mean, obviously, I got close with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these
that.
roguelites I got close, but 200 hours is a pretty heavy barrier. Let me look at my Steam thing while we're talking here.
Dr. Turbo says Animal Crossing about 650 hours with no time travel.
Jeez.
I lost count when I moved over to the OLED model. Yeah, see, me too. For some reason, even with cloud saves, time spent playing a game doesn't carry over to new consoles. Yeah, I know. It's annoying. Ezipsis says, I was pleasantly surprised to discover that according to my Switch, it's one of the greatest games of all time. Hollow Knight. Yeah, Hollow Knight is long for a Metroidvania. It can be your most played, especially if you want to play it multiple times and 100% it. Though I know it would really be Breath of the Wild because before Nintendo added cloud saves and after I spent countless hours 100% completing the game, my house was broken into and my Switch, along with other things, was stolen. Even the card was still in it. I did play it through again sometime later, but I rushed through that. I just had to play the DLC and spend a little 20 hours doing so. One Over CPU says my most played game is Animal Crossing New Horizons at 1,080 hours.
Whoa.
1,000. I've only ever broken the 1,000 hour mark on, I think, MMOs. I don't know if there's any other games I played 1,000 hours of besides World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14, maybe Hearthstone. He says Pokemon Shield is number 2 at 665. Man, he is getting his money's worth.
Yes, absolutely.
And Monster Hunter Rise is 3rd at 620 hours. Maybe Sunbreak will help it topple Animal Crossing. What can I say? I love collecting furniture and Pokemon and killing dragons. Man, yeah, that's pretty good. Was it One Up versus CPU who made that incredible art for Game S Decides?
Yes, it is, and he also made the shirt, one of the shirts that we need to get running because
I got another
93's over. Yeah,
we're getting some. Yeah, you guys are doing really cool stuff there, but yes, I love that because it combines your love of the Game Boy Advance with my love of Final Fantasy. It's actually, dare I say, perfect.
It's really, really good. I was very happy when I saw that because I was like running like I was just putting a JPEG up from my computer because I didn't have time to make something. So I was like, I'm like, oh my god, thank you. So yeah, we got to find a way to compensate him with some shirt sales.
Yes, Haas. I haven't got any shirt sale money yet.
Yes, I also have to do the LLC, and someone reached out and says, hey, I can help you with the LLC if you need help. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I feel like this LLC is just your excuse to stop paying me.
I mean, who could say?
Haas says, honorable mention to Stardew Valley for 250 hours of comfort. Ooh, I probably put a lot into that too. Not more than Smash, but a good amount. But it's all about 400 hours on Pokemon Shield. My addiction to shiny hunting is ongoing. 149 mods and counting. Shout out to my girlfriend's 580 hours on Pokemon Sword. Man, I got 20 hours in Pokemon Sword and Shield and beat it, and that's all I could take of that one. But I'm sure there were Pokemon. I mean, I think the most I ever played a single Pokemon game was probably just Pokemon Red. And I think that was the first time I ever saw an in-game counter reach 100 hours, and I was like really proud of myself. I remember.
I mean, back then that was that. Yes, yeah, for sure.
12 and everything. Yeah, for games back then. Turbo Man says for me, it's Animal Crossing New Horizons. I put 250 hours into that game within March to August 2020, mainly to catch bugs and fish to give the blathers, building up my island and paying off them bell debts. I haven't played the game since 2020 though, but it is definitely one of my favorite Switch Exclusives. Animal Crossing, Breath of the Wild seem to be pretty popular answers here, Jeff. Jamie
Yes.
H1224 says technically it's Animal Crossing, but I feel like a lot of that was idling with it open while I waited for seasonal bugs and fish to appear. To me, though, my actual most played game is Stardew Valley at 235 hours. I was big into Harvest Moon, Back to Nature on PlayStation 1, and Friends of Mineral Town on Game Boy Advance, so it got me hooked from the day I got it. Even though I've done everything in the game, I still find myself coming back to it every now and again. Jeff, I want to show you something.
Please. Yeah, no problem. I looked at my Steam thing, and this actually applies. This could be one of my most played games, but it was only partially played on the cloud version on my Switch. Hitman 2. I think if you add up all the hours I spent in like Hitman 1 and 2 levels, and now Hitman 3, that's probably like approaching 300 or 400 hours between all those. And like a lot of that is in those same Hitman 1 levels, but it's kind of like a continuous live service thing almost. So, but 173 hours in Hitman 1 alone. So yeah.
I got this letter yesterday, and it was in an envelope with no return address. It says on
Toucan Sam or what?
On June 17th, 1997, a brand new genre of video games was born with this special and unique title. Happy 25th anniversary. It took me a good bit to figure out what this was. I was like, at first I was like, Banjo-Kazooie? No, Kazooie's red. I think.
Yeah, and it was a brand new genre?
And then I was like, no, and it's 1998. So I was like, I know there's some anniversaries coming up. I know Final Fantasy 7 and GoldenEye has its anniversaries, but I don't think it's June 17th. So I had to look online. It wasn't even listed online as June 17th, but Harvest Moon came out in June 1997 in the US. And then I remembered that in those games, you give people a blue feather to get engaged to them.
Oh.
So somebody is
congratulations to
me.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody,
wow,
yeah.
It's a big day.
Somebody at Natsume or whoever does those games now. Maybe think about that with the Harvest Moon mention there. The only Harvest Moon I actually ever played a lot of was Harvest Moon 64, which slapped. It was great. Casual says, put another one in the Animal Crossing New Horizons bucket, please. Around 220 hours. That game continues to bum me out with how many things it gets wrong compared to its predecessor. Oh, well, here's hoping we'll get New Leaf 2 someday. It is interesting. There are some people who still like, I don't want to say not my Animal Crossing, but like they like some of the older ones. And I know for me and you, New Horizons kind of worked better for us.
Yep.
Divorced by Kojima, Jim Ryan says, my most played Switch game is Smash Ultimate at 410 hours. Nice. Not that much, but I have like 10 Switch games over 100 hours. What pisses me off is Smash won't update its time because I got an OLED. Yeah,
that's so frustrating. I hate that Nintendo does that.
I want to know what they think about items in Smash, because I bet anybody who has over 200 hours in Smash thinks items are bad.
I get it. That doesn't mean they're right.
I mean, I think it maybe does. Rumham says, I think it will always be Breath of the Wild and Smash. Really normal answers, but so easy to sink time into. Although if Golden Sun comes to Switch, it'll obviously be that. Frank343 says, my most played game is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley's showing up here a lot. Mm-hmm. That game got me through a lot of stressful days in college as a decompressor at the end of the day. Excuse me. And recently I put a lot of hours on co-op with my wife. I forgot I got co-op. Oh, I'm surprised this is the first time we got in this one. Jeremy G says Fire Emblem 3 Houses for me.
That's a good one.
Give me more tactics, not repetitive hack and slash action games. Damn it. Yeah, I'm not feeling very excited about the Muso game either. But hey, apparently there's a Fire Emblem game that's done right now. You can't play it, but it's done. Breadfish says, for me, it's Binding of Isaac Rebirth, now with the Repentance DLC, sitting about 400 hours now, and I still feel like I'm scratching the surface sometimes. Easily my favorite roguelike of all time. Jeff, is it weird? I've never played a second of Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, me neither. And I've recently I've been hearing people being like, oh, I've gone back and played Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and it's all I want to play. I'm like, oh, I guess I downloaded it on my Steam Deck specifically because of that.
Yeah, I might finally check it out at some point here. Per Bappa 5 Royale with Cheese says, surprisingly, it was Smash Ultimate. I'm not a big fighting game guy. It's not even on my short list of Switch favorites. But that speaks volumes to how much fun of a multiplayer game it is. Seems like every weekend for a year, we would load up lobbies and play. Beef Hammer says, I've got nearly 300 hours of Splatoon 2. Of course, his answer is Splatoon 2. So it is far and away my most played. What can I say? It's fun being a kid, then a squid, then a kid, then a squid. And also makes me feel bad when we do community nights and I beat everyone in it. Well, as long as they're on my team, I don't feel bad. Randy says, off the top of my head, it's between Into the Breach and Dead Cells. They were both on sale right as I moved into a different house, and they both helped me pass the time in handheld mode while I was being too lazy to hook up all my other systems. They are both tremendous games, for making time disappear. Doc7 says Mario Maker 2 is my most played.
Oh, that's
I
a good one.
follow a few creators I found via online community, so it makes it easy to get on and play a few levels I'm likely to enjoy. I mean, that makes sense,
Mhm.
right? I mean, if you're just care about content, you get endless content there.
Yep.
Tink says Animal Crossing. Thanks to the pandemic, Peachon, our new friend Peachon, says my most played games on the Switch are Binding of Isaac with 250 hours. There's Binding of Isaac again. And Xenoblade 2 with 130 hours. I only did a story playthrough of that Xenoblade, by the way. Yeah, it's like again, like I know people like Xenoblade Chronicles too. Even people have to admit that maybe it's a little long for what it is.
Mhm.
Like it's not. It's not a mechanically super rich RPG, and it's also not narratively super rich. So why is it that long? Winnie says, "Slay the Spire with Monster Train creeping up. The endorphin rush of doing runs is a very high. Also a good TV/drinking. Lots of roguelikes here, which I guess makes sense." The Egg Doctor says, "My most played Switch game is Animal Crossing. Turns out that checking in a few minutes every day really adds up." Followed by Breath of the Wild and Rocket League. Rocket League's an interesting answer.
Yeah.
Zalax002 says, "Breath of the Wild had the crown for years, but it was overtaken by drumroll Mario Kart 8. The addition of new courses makes it likely that Mario Kart 8 will continue to reign for the rest of the Switch's too damn long lifespan." Brian says, "Not counting Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8, both of which I played far more on the Wii U, I would say Hollow Knight. Booted the game up on a flight to Vegas in 2018 for EVO and really fell in love with the game, which made it hurt all the more when my Switch got stolen just before I was going to fight the final boss. Needless to say, looking forward to Silksong. A lot of people getting their Switches stolen, Jeff. I got to be careful."
Yes, look out.
Turbo Giggy says, "I would say Breath of the Wild, but I played most of that on the Wii U. Instead, Hades gets the top honors of my Switch with some 80 or so hours." Super Harmon says, "Most played Switch game is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I don't know if it's just because I didn't have any other games to play at the time, but the reason is because I tried to get all the blades to do their side quests. Oof. I gave up at some point because I got bored farming cores, only to be disappointed with a generic blade when opening them. That sounds like hell to me." Sesame Oil says, "Admittedly, my most played Switch game was the first FIFA on Switch.
Wow.
Since they keep releasing the same game over the years, I never felt any need to buy a new one, so I just kept playing the manager mode, running into decades later. That leaves me some hundreds of hours. Animal Crossing might technically be my most played game. That's me just keeping the game on all day AFK for many days during the first several months. Pandemic sucks." That's interesting. I think he might be our only FIFA.
Yeah, probably.
Diego RP says, "My most played Switch game is Smash Brothers Ultimate by far at 800 something hours." What do you think about items, Diego? I'd like to know. Even though the online matching could be improved, I find myself consistently having a lot of fun with random quick play. The phenomenal roster makes it almost infinitely replayable for me. See, what I play, I just like to kill time. I'll just play against computers for fun or something. But a lot of times I am playing with friends locally. Nintendo Bro says, "I feel like a lightweight compared to everyone else so far when I say I've only put 200 hours into Breath of the Wild. When it's all said and done, thanks to our wonderful gamers community, it'll probably be Mario Kart 8. Fortunately, using 3 different Switches means I don't have an accurate way to measure. Yeah, I don't either anymore because I use it too. So, but I know it's Smash Brothers." Fish and Love says, my most played Switch game is Smash, but not to the extent of everyone else here. I must be around 150 and 200 hours. That's probably closer to what I am, actually, Fish. I'm pretty surprised with some of the people here. Maybe I'm higher and I just don't realize it. The vast majority of which has been spent 100%ing World of Light, including maxing all the spirits. Wow. Haven't even really gone back to try the DLC characters despite owning them all. Man, that's some dedication to the World of Light mode. My one 4-year-old nephew really likes the song for Smash Brothers that they sing during the World of Light, so I like to sing it with him now. It's very good. He knows the words better than I do. I kind of the mumble here and there. Gerbear says, "Super Mario Odyssey with Amir in this company, 65 hours or more." Yeah, I wonder what mine is, because I did 100% it, and then I played through it again a couple times, but not 100%ing it. So I might be around there.
Yeah, I'm probably close to 100 hours in that as well.
I might be closer to 80 to 100 hours in that one. Napper says, "Feeling a lot better about my 300 hours of Animal Crossing New Horizons after going through this thread." Yeah, there you go. Ed says, "Animal Crossing New Horizons." Animal Crossing New Horizons might be the most popular and followed by Smash.
It's like sort of like a lifestyle game at a certain point for so many people. Yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend and I both have 500 plus hours each on it. Kept us going through the pandemic when we couldn't see each other in person for a few months. Oh, that's cute. Paulo Ramos says, game I played the most was probably Diablo 3. Oh, that's a good answer. Being able to get all my season stuff done while on the subway while going to work was just super fun. Damn shame that Diablo Immortal was always online. Would love to catch on bounties and contracts while going to and from work. Stitch 30M says, my most played game is surprisingly Super Mario Party. That game's a lot of fun while playing along with friends. Mr. Boer says, my top ones match a lot of other responses. Assassin's Creed. He said ACs. I read it. It's Assassin's Creed. Animal Crossing New Horizons and Breath of the Wild. I was surprised to see one of the games with the most number of hours on my Switch is the Ace Attorney trilogy. Oh, that's good. I mean, that's 3 games there, and each one of those takes, some time dedication. Izzy says, technically Animal Crossing. My wife played it so much, I had to get another one for her so I'd be able to play Pokemon again. Last, and probably least, Turbo Sean says, the proof is lost on a different Switch I sold before Nintendo figure out what cloud saves are. Cloud saves wouldn't have saved you. But for me, it's Breath of the Wild. I'm the kind of guy who usually just plays the main story and calls it a day, so excluding competitive stuff like speedrunning games or hatching eggs in Pokemon for tournament play, I think Breath of the Wild is my most played individual single-player game at over 200 hours. So yes, Jeff, I think Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing, Breath of the Wild are the most popular answers here. There are a couple of Hades was interesting. There was a few Stardew Valleys which made sense also.
Right.
So that's pretty interesting. Next week's topic, by the way, what is the one thing that you want to see from this Nintendo Direct that we're kind of all expecting now?
Cool. Good question.
Yeah, so we'll think about that. But Jeff, let's read those super chats. I
got them. I got them up right here. Let's see. Let's start here with Nintendo Bro coming in earlier in the day saying, Mike, how do you make rainbow sunglasses?
You throw sunglasses at a rainbow. I mean, it seems self-explanatory. I don't know why I have to keep telling you people this.
From Uriel Delgado, Mike, can you play Claire de Lune? Batman is dead.
No, I cannot.
Okay.
Maybe I need to learn.
You need to learn. Batman is dead. How does he say it? I can't say it as happy as Jeff Keighley says it.
Batman is dead.
There you go. Batman is dead. Yeah. From Xbox Lord Gamer. Here he is. All right. You said 1 versus 100 Shadow Drop, Avowed, State of Decay 3. You were wrong. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say those were all speculation. I feel like it was pretty clear.
I thought you were pretty clear. I mean, does he have nothing to say about giving you shit about the Kojima game for like a year? And it turns out it's just right. He has nothing to say. He has no reflection on that. No. You can't look inside yourself for just a second, please, and wonder if perhaps it was unfair to yell at Jeff for so long and when you were wrong and Jeff was just right.
He would have to turn on a flickering light inside of him that had died so long ago. There's no internal reflection upon himself. That could never happen now. From King is Overrated, Nintendo gives us Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Oh, Nintendo, give us Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, you cowards. Glad to see you back, Mikey. Also glad to see Jeff is settling in. Yes, I am. And thank you. I saw a lot of well wishes in the chat as well. Thank you, everybody, for it means a lot, actually, because it's a lot of work and kind of feels kind of lonely going in those pods and carrying stuff into the garage. And then I'm like, oh, I get back here and people are just thinking about me and hoping good things. So I appreciate it.
I told you to ask for help. Granted, I was not here. So the timing wasn't great.
And it's fine. We're doing okay now. We're in a good spot. From Zombie Porin, sorry if someone asked this, but would Final Fantasy 1 through 6 be at Direct? Because the Final Fantasy event Thursday is explicitly for Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, the thing we're getting then is going to just be for that. So if they are going to announce the Pixel remaster is coming to Switch, which again, it's one of those things why aren't they on Switch already? I don't know. Perhaps that's going to be part of the Direct.
Yeah, if you wanted to get me for being wrong about something, I said Final Fantasy, those things would be on Switch earlier this year because that's what I heard. So I was wrong about that. They probably just.
But you don't have to give him. I hope he brings that up next time. He's taking notes. Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Yes, exactly. Jeff. I hope so too. I mean, it gives us more money, whatever. From Hitch, hey Jeff, congrats on the move and new job. Thank you so much. We've gotten now 2 leaks on Uncharted PC June 20th, but radio silence from Sony for 6 months. What is up? It was is people still think that's coming next week and Sony hasn't confirmed? I don't know. That's weird. I at a certain point, that's one of those ones where I'm like, oh, that'll come when it comes, and I haven't been paying attention to it. But I would love for that to come to PC next week. I'll play Uncharted 4 on my PC for a little while. Uncharted 4 is a great game. So,
It sure is. I like Uncharted 4 quite a lot.
yeah, I like
I
it.
think it's actually somehow underrated.
Yeah, I think it's underrated too, and it doesn't have to be like in the conversation for greatest game of all time. It's just a real solid, fun adventure, and that's all it needs to be. King is overrated. Do you see Nintendo port their content in the future to other devices, PC/Steam, like Xbox and PlayStation? Seems like they're alone with old tactics.
Never say never, but so Sony's thing is like we need to sell 10 million copies of these games or 20 million copies of the games, like Nintendo. Well, Nintendo's already doing that without bringing their stuff to PC.
Yep. From Dylan, will Pikmin 4 ever exist? Switch or Switch 2? Yeah, it's coming, I think, eventually. But who knows which Switch it'll be on. Feels like this is the kind of time where like this Direct could be the kind of one where it's like, oh wow, they announced Pikmin 4. That's crazy. It's coming out like early next year or something. Like that's possible at any moment.
It is.
But I don't know if it's like, it doesn't feel like you're gonna have to like wait to the Switch 2 to hear about it. I don't think, but we'll see. From Good Morning Games, saltines or Ritz?
Oh, well, Ritz definitely tastes better. I eat saltines more because that's if I'm having a bad Crohn's attack and I have to eat something that's really bland and will hopefully not upset my stomach, I go to the saltines. So I respect saltines. They have gotten me through some
They're doing their job. Like they've been there for you. I think I actually prefer, well, Ritz is very tasty, but I think I probably enjoy saltines more, like when I'm just like want a cracker. From David Cast, JRPGs. Can't catch the show live, but I still want to show my support. Thank you so much, David Cast. Also, Persona on Switch. It's Atlas, so we never know, but what do you guys think?
It's got to happen at some point. It feels, even as I say that, I cringe at myself.
Yeah, because we've been saying it for so long, but it's like we're right back here. They just announced more stuff happening with the Persona, and yet we're still back here. From Steve Sullivan, and he pointed out that someone else asked this already, but I'll just read it real quick. Pikmin 4 in 2023, wishful thinking, what are the odds? I think the odds are decent for that. That'd be great.
I think it could happen. I think that maybe makes sense.
From Callan Priplin, God of War, Spider-Man on PC, Persona is finally coming to Xbox. Will we ever see Nintendo first-party released on PC?
This again.
Yeah, Mike said never say never, and I agree with that, but probably
not soon.
They're not in any rush to do it anytime soon. From Victor Marinez, BoJack Horseman is my comfort show. I suffer from depression, and the show really makes me feel seen. It's so sad, it makes me happy. I understand that sentiment, and I appreciate it.
I never seen this show, but sometimes I do this weird thing where I start binge watching the YouTube clips of shows. So I've seen a bunch of like the big moments from that show with no context.
And do you yell at yourself like, "Quit spoiling the show, Mike"? You yell at yourself like that? Okay.
I think your new coworker Dan might hate spoilers. To be clear, definitely hate spoilers significantly more than I do. So I'm just waiting for that blow up to happen.
From David Redacop, he hates spoilers for like news though, and I'm about to be like, can't spoil real life, so that'll be a good conversation. That's gonna go well. David Redacop, ahoy! There was a leak this morning that Tactics Ogre Reborn will be releasing on PlayStation. Do you think this remake will also come to the Switch?
I mean, it could. Maybe we don't hear about it until the Direct. We don't really even know exactly what this is, what it's a remake of. There's multiple Tactics Ogre games. Probably Let Us Cling Together, I would assume. But yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like the kind of thing, like remaking a tactics game. Why wouldn't you release that on the Switch, right? Triangle Strategy even did really well on the Switch, right? So why not?
Yep.
But you can never tell.
And we are caught up on Super Chats. We're ready to go.
All right. Yeah. All right, Jeff. We've been going for a bit here. I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I've been playing, though.
Please.
I mean, Mario Circus Battle League, I basically have just played through the tutorial, which I did after you and Dan said I should on the first look on Giant Bomb, so thank you. And just did a little bit of one of the tournaments. It's fun. It is incredible. There's so much more to it than you expect, and it all works so well. That next level stuff, that the animations, they're all just so good. Just the little things that a Waluigi does, or even a Rosalina when they score a goal. It's just fantastic. I understand I might come to a point to resent the lack of content, but right now it's called Quick Look. What did I say? But right now it is so fun. What did I say? First look?
Giant Bomb's first look. Yes. Yeah.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
He
calls me Mitch all the time. His joke is calling me the wrong names. I'm not going to take any shit for calling that the wrong name.
I like this soccer game a whole bunch. They did what they needed to do in terms of making the actual act of playing soccer with a bunch of wild shit happening feel really tight, and then also feel like there is a lot of strategy, because at any time you could be pulling off a set of moves that have a risk reward to them. So do you want to do a more powerful shot? We need to charge that up, and this is like a basic one that makes a lot of sense, but you charge it up, but then that opens you up to attack, and if someone can get to you before you pull that off, well, they're just going to steal it from you, and then they're going to have a really good chance for a breakaway. So yeah, you might have a better chance of scoring, but there's also a better chance of giving the team a chance to score. But then on defense, it's like, well, you have some players that can really like slide tackle for a long distance and do so with a lot of power, but again, you got to charge it up. And there's no risk during the charge up phase. I think you can cancel it, like hitting R or B or something like that.
Yes.
And that's good. But like the risk comes from like, okay, well, they're in front of you, and what move are they going to pull? Are they going to try to dodge, or are they going to go in a different direction? And if you miss, you're going to wipe out. But if you miss and they also dodge it perfectly, they get a small speed boost, a boost to their shot. They become really dangerous for about like a second and a half. And it's like, oh, okay, you really messed up. So there's a really good juggling of these different mechanics going on all at the same time, and
Even
I was
the
really
items.
into it. Yes,
And we know how much I hate items in Smash Bros. They make sense here because they're kind of a catch-up mechanic
Yes.
for the other team, and they're not like the end-all be-all. There's not an item that like just automatically scores a goal or something. Like
yeah, but
that.
if like, but if you like are behind, and then you get the big golden goal thing, so that you could do a power shot, a hyper shot, which gives you 2 goals, just so everyone knows, which Dan Reichert didn't know until I scored 2 goals out on once.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like it's about to like run out, and the other team scores, and you have this thing that's about to run out, and you got to use it right as soon as the kickoff happens. Well, what I'll do is, if I have a green shell, I'll just fire it straight in front of me. It takes out the enemy. It gives me just enough time to get that off, and I have a good chance of scoring. So it's like, all right, that's a good strategy right there. Like there's probably ways to counter it, but the whole point is, if I have that stuff, it's probably because I'm behind, I am losing. So it's like the game wants you to feel like you can catch up at any time, and I think overall that's a really good place for the game to be, where most games are within arm's reach of the losing player at any one time. So then it's like, okay, then what do we do with all this stuff? Well, we are gonna get into the Battle League this Friday. We're gonna be setting it up on stream for our community. That's where I'll really know how I feel about this game. But right now, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm overall really enjoying it, and so yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I've been playing this instead of a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm allowed to say that we're playing, but that's it. That's all we can say.
I have been playing a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
But yes, I can't say anything. But yes, I've been playing. One of your kids, by the way, just came and flashed her diaper at us.
Oh, cool.
Fun.
Good girl.
Yeah. So yes, I am enjoying a lot. I'm excited. We're going to be playing some together in the same room soon, Jeff. Isn't that just going to be wild?
Yeah, it'll be fun. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
All right, Jeff. The other thing here is at Summer Game Fest, I did play Sonic Frontiers, which, if you can believe it, is coming to Switch this year, supposedly.
The fans don't want it. You see the campaign to have Sega delay it?
Really?
Yeah, there's a change.org petition where the fans are like, please delay Sonic Frontiers. And Sega was like, no.
I know that I've been defending Sonic Frontiers, and I still kind of want to defend it because it can be fun, and there's some good ideas there.
Yeah.
It probably should be delayed. I mean, well, their presentation of it was weird. Like, they didn't quite know how to set up the demo stations. Like, it was running off of PCs, but like the Windows taskbar was still showing for some reason.
All right, okay.
And the resolution seemed off. So
Good start.
that's they had us using PlayStation controllers, even though all the button prompts were for Xbox. So if it said to push X, it was pretty confusing. But it kind of works sometimes when you're running around the open world, and it's like, here's a spring here, and that's going to take me to this loop-de-loop and this grinding thing, and that takes me to this part of the level that I was wondering how I can get to. Like, that's pretty fun. Of course, like most of these Dash Sonic games, whenever you need to do precise movements, like, oh, there's a tower here, I want to just jump up it. Oh, the collision sure is a mess.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I beat a big boss, and it was kind of fun, also kind of sloppy. Is that boss where the person was trying to run up the leg through those dash circles, and the dash circles didn't really seem to take you where you think they would sometimes. But it was still kind of fun. But then I beat the boss, and the camera cut to show the boss dying. When it cut back, I fell through the world and died.
Oh, God.
There's also just a ton of just the camera cutting, just show you things constantly in the beginning, which was annoying. So, yeah. Again, there's things there, but it definitely has a lot of that. Just why are the Sonic Team games this janky? still, right? It is a legitimate question, especially when, and I know there's a big difference between a one-on-one fighting game and this, but you would think of Sega and Capcom, they should be equivalent companies, and Street Fighter 6 is already so polished, Jeff. It already looks so crisp, and
They've already
that's
been
not
working on that game
coming
for a
out.
really long time, but still, yeah.
That's not coming out this year.
Yeah, okay, wow.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Sonic Frontiers is. It is just
Sega.
it needs work. If it was anybody else, I'd be like, it is absolutely getting delayed. But it just might not be. It's Sonic, a team, and it's Sega. It just might come out this year anyways, and somehow come out for the Switch, and I just don't know how that's gonna work out.
It just seems like a game that could be very good if they just got like
They're
the
on
core
the right
things.
track.
Yeah.
They're on the right track. There's something to it.
And I think I said this even when I was complaining about the way it looked, which was always my issue, is I don't like the way it looks. But regardless of that, the idea of running across an open world as a character that is that fast is very appealing, and there's something there. Okay. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about now. I got a couple other things that I'll talk about on maybe Thursday night. We're doing Game of Societies now. We're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, we're trying to maybe I haven't had a lot of chance to actually talk about all these changes and stuff, but we're trying to figure it out. That sounds right. Probably Thursday night. We got a couple more super chats in here. Let me read these real quick. Did I read the Give Kojima Nintendo?
I think you just have one more to read from MN Goldie, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna just make sure. I don't know if I read this one from Huey F. Newton. Give Kojima a Nintendo up to take over to revive. I'm not sure what that means, but fair enough. Then from MN Goldie. Yes, there we go. Good luck tomorrow in Arcade Pit. I'll be cheering for the Beef and Cheddar Boys. The best advice I can give is practice your doodling. Thank you, MN Goldie.
I'm a good doodler. I'm a good dude. I think I was made for this for the Arcade Pit, Jeff.
I think I'm really looking forward to this. This is gonna be a good time. I was practicing some Marble Madness last night. I was getting on the phone with Cerny.
I saw you doing that. And part of me was like, man, maybe I should, because I had Marble Madness on the edge. I used to play quite a bit. There's
so many games that we have no idea what we're gonna get. Like,
I hope I get one of the Mario or one of the Mega Man games.
You've been playing around with have you been playing around with the pack and everything, the download pack to make sure that
I still need to download it actually.
Download it, make sure you have it ready to go. Because
I will.
Yes, and then read there's a README. Read that, and then you'll be good. You'll be good. It's actually super impressive how well it's put together. So
yes. What time is that happening tomorrow?
It's a very good question. Let me take a look here while you I
believe you told me 1 p.m. Eastern originally.
That sounds right. I'm gonna look in my let me look at my Outlook right now if you want to go ahead and start wrapping us up here.
Yeah, we'll start wrapping up otherwise from that. Thanks for watching Last of the Nintendogs, everybody. It was a good time. We will be back on Thursday night, we think, with Game Mess Decides. Thanks to AJ actually for covering me during those last few shows. I do appreciate that. He did a great job. But yeah, you can find more of me on gamesbeat.com. Find me on Twitter at Tokoto, on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Tokoto, and 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast. Jeff, where can people find you?
You can find me on giantbomb.com. We've been doing a lot of stuff already. It's been hitting the ground running. I did a quick look for Mario Strikers with Dan Reichert. If you want to check that out, that was a lot of fun. We got plans to do some other stuff this week, some other games. This Friday, we're going to be doing the first normal UPF that is completely free for everyone on Professional Fridays. We're going to be playing a lot of those demos from E3 on that thing. So I think I'm going to bring Agent 64, Melatonin, stuff like that. Yeah.
I was watching Dan play Agent 64. Even as much as I talk about GoldenEye, I love boomer shooters.
Yes, it's got a good boomer shooter vibe to it. And at this point, it just plays with mouse and keyboard. It just feels like a mouse and keyboard game. So yes, it's very cool. And then on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, according to my calendar, Arcade Pit. At least that's when we need to be in there. It probably starts a little bit later. But yeah, show up at Giant Bomb. Come watch me and Mike compete in Arcade Pit event against Dan Reichert. And I don't know who he got as his partner. I have no idea. So it's
I do. They're in the thing. They're in the Discord thing.
Okay.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret.
Maybe it's supposed to be a secret. Let's just wait and see. Okay, well, you could tell me later. It's exciting. Cool. So look forward to that. It'll be a good time. And me and Mike are just going to destroy them. They don't stand a chance. So
I feel pretty confident about it.
Yep, that's going to be good. All right, everybody. Mike, you want to throw us out of here, and I'll have the music playing over this and everything?
I already said everything. I think we're pretty much thrown out.
All right, everybody. Bye. We'll see you next time. All right, I stopped recording. Bye, stream. We're going to get out of here. We'll Thursday night. We'll probably do it in a similar time to this. This worked out pretty good, but let me make sure that all hell didn't break loose upstairs. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.